I'm going with the underdog story. Do I think they can win this in my head? No, but in my heart, I think they can.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Right Bench Podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm James.
Season 3, episode 17, right?
Woo, 17.
It's
It's 17.
It's definitely 17.
17. 1-7.
Okay. College football playoff first round in the books. That was a while ago. We're gonna go over it now. And then we're gonna be previewing the second round. We're not really getting into any NFL in the season stuff, which stinks, but that's the college football playoffs. So
Yeah.
too bad. We'll get into the NFL playoffs when it comes, but until then, nothing on that. So we do have NFL picks with the guests, and we do have Dog of the Week, and we do have recent rundown. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
We're just gonna give our takeaways for each of the first round games. So just a couple minutes for each one. We'll spend the bulk of our time on the second round games. All right. So let's start. Notre Dame 27, Indiana 17. What do you have, James?
I think Indiana, for them, they never got into a groove offensively in this game. They were never able to get a run game going. Curtis Rourke was pressured a lot in this game. Notre Dame got him off. They put him on his heels a lot. He just didn't look like the ninth guy in the Heisman voting, right? And Indiana didn't look like a good team. Maybe they weren't a good team all year, but Notre Dame got him out their groove offensively. And I think Notre Dame just slowed down the game, and they were able to run the ball effectively and well. And then I think Riley Leonard played a very good game. I was very impressed with how he played, his poise and his control over the game. This score was the closest one, but it felt like the biggest blowout.
Because they scored 2 touchdowns at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so 2 things I took away. First thing, this confirmed what many people thought about Indiana, right? There are some people that were high, but there's also a lot of people that thought, yeah, these guys aren't good. They haven't played anyone. The one team they played, they got steamrolled by Ohio State, right? And so that kind of confirmed that. They got dominated by a bigger, better Notre Dame team. And one thing I took away from Notre Dame is that they might have a chance. We can't really tell, judging by Indiana team, but we'll see this week against Georgia. But they showed a lot of really good traits first round of this college football playoff. Being able to run the ball, being able in multiple ways,
Exactly.
playing great defense against a good quarterback. So that could be huge coming down the stretch here against Georgia. So we'll either confirm or deny that here this week, but I think they might have a chance.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I just think they played a really good game on both sides of the ball. And I think that's what Notre Dame's done all year. Since that NIU loss, they have dug their cleats in, and they have played hard to obviously go undefeated since then.
You were saying these guys aren't any good; they don't deserve to be there. But
I don't think they deserve to be as high as they were seeded.
But now they might. But
yeah,
now
sure.
they definitely impressed a lot of people this week. Next game, Penn State 38, SMU 10. You want to start us off?
You can go. Go ahead.
All right.
You go.
One thing I took away from SMU is that they just couldn't handle the big moment. Right? They've been good all year. Right? They kind of sold in the ACC championship. They made the comeback, but to no fruition. To no avail, I think it was. I don't know what I'm saying. All right. But I think Kevin Jennings just kind of fell apart. He threw 3 interceptions. 2 of them were really, really bad. And they just couldn't find anything offensively, and Penn State was just pounding them right through. And one thing about Penn State I came out with is that Penn State's defense is elite, and that can really help them through the rest of this college football playoff, especially against Boise State, right? I mean, they were just had Kevin Jennings on his heels. They had him flustered, and they were making plays and knew where he was going with the ball, and so that was really good to see from Penn State.
Yeah, I think from Penn State, agreeing with you on the defenses, James Franklin's teams the last, let's just say 4 years, have been incredibly defensively, but they have never had this much firepower offensively. This is the best team he's had in the last 4 or 5 years. So I just think Penn State, the defensive presence that they showed and being able to get momentum early in this game, they obviously had 2 big pick sixes as their first 2 touchdowns, go up 14-0. And then obviously SMU, they were rattled, and they didn't look like they were in the right headspace, even just coming into that game. Kevin Jennings just made a lot of poor decisions. And I don't know if that shows him as much as a quarterback or maybe him as just a decision maker, because I think he's still a really good quarterback, but maybe he doesn't make the greatest decisions, especially going into a place like Happy Valley. That's not easy. You've been playing against ACC stadiums and ACC fans all year. That's a lot different than going into Penn State in the cold, up there with those fans in a whiteout game. It's not easy to win. Not a lot of people can do that. And I just think he performed poorly, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
Yeah, we'll see. Is he coming back?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he's only a sophomore.
He should take some steps up next year.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do agree that this is the best Penn State team they've had. This is definitely their best shot. especially with how wide open college ball is right now on these last 8 teams. Anyway, Texas 38, Clemson 24. This one was probably the closest played game out of all of them. You want to start us off?
Yeah, I mean, I say going into this game that I thought this was going to be the best game to watch. Now, I thought the other ones were going to be a lot better too, but it ended up being probably my favorite game to watch. Or I don't know, all these games were pretty tough. But Texas' ability to run the ball, I think, was the biggest part in this game, and then being able to just take some pressure off of Quinn Ewers at the start of the game, and then he got into his groove. I think it could take him very far when you're able to run the ball effectively, and you have 2 really good running backs in Jaden Blue and then Weiser. I just think it's really, really hard to beat a team that runs the ball effectively. And then for Clemson, I think they just got outclassed, and they never really stopped fighting, but they never really had a chance. From the start of that game, it just looks like Texas had all the momentum, and they just got outclassed. But I do like the fight they showed at the end, and I like that Dabo's team tried to come to play, but going into Austin, it would have been really tough to win that game.
Yeah, one thing I took away from Clemson was that they just weren't good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 3-loss team coming in, they won the ACC, just very blessed to even get in that game and then to win it. But they just, at the end of the day, they just weren't good enough, right?
Yeah.
They went into Texas and they played a good game. Like, for their standards,
They
they played a good game, but Texas was so much better than them that they really couldn't do anything about it. And then for Texas, I said if Texas plays well, they can overpower anyone. With their run game, with the way Quinn Ewers can carve up a defense with his eyes and with his arm, and just the way their defense is so dominant, they can overpower anybody if they play their best game. We just got to see them play their best game. I don't think this was it, but I think this was very, very close.
Yeah, I think going into the playoffs, being able to run the ball is a very good thing because you have to take pressure off a quarterback when you come into the playoffs. It's like a guy like Drew Allard for Penn State cannot have all the pressure on him going into a second-round game. Same thing with Quinn Ewers.
Kevin Jennings did. That's
exactly.
what we saw.
Exactly. They couldn't run the ball in that game. So.
All right, Ohio State 24, Tennessee 17. I'll start us off here. What I have for Tennessee is that Tennessee showed their true colors. And I've said it all year. They aren't really that good. I kind of felt away from that picking Tennessee in this game, but it just showed, like I was right before, they just weren't that good. They showed their true colors against an Ohio State team that really came out to play, and they were just outmatched in every facet of the game. Their defense couldn't handle it. Their offense couldn't handle it. It was just got outmatched. And Ohio State, I said, is a very, very strong contender. Everyone said coming in, are we going to get the Ohio State that played Michigan? Are we going to get the Ohio State that played Indiana? And we got the Ohio State that played Indiana, and that blew them out. We got the Ohio State that everyone is scared of. The Ohio State that took Oregon to a 1-point game. And so that's huge to see that if they can play like that every single game, they're a very, very strong contender and have one of the top 3 chances to win it all. And so that was really good to see because if they had come out like they played against Michigan, they would have gotten steamrolled here. But they didn't. That makes them a very, very strong contender.
Yeah. For Tennessee, going back to them, I think they're just they were the younger, more inexperienced team. You have a freshman at quarterback walking into the horseshoe as a 9 seed this year, going into Ohio State. I never really thought they had a chance. I do think that they had an incredible season, beating Bama at home and doing all these things. Neyland Stadium was great this year, but they have a lot of time, right? Having a freshman quarterback and having guys coming up, especially in the running back room for Tennessee, they're the younger, more inexperienced team. Ohio State had more to play for in this game, and they really showed that. And I was impressed with Will Howard's decision-making and pocket presence. I think that was the most impressive thing to me. He took off when he needed to. He stepped up in the pocket when he needed to. And his decision-making and his accuracy on deep ball throws was impressive to me. Because I'll be honest, I've been a hater of Will Howard this year. I have. And that's nothing against him. That's just I just don't think he was that good of a quarterback. And he showed me why, honestly, he was probably the best-looking quarterback this week in the first round.
Yeah. All right, well, that'll do it for that. Next week, we'll come in talking about, I think it's next week, we'll come in talking about the second round games early and then the semifinals. So
Yeah, New Year's 6 games.
Anyway, before we get into the second round preview, we have what?
Recent rundown. Cue the music.
Well, it was Christmas Day. Merry Christmas. In the NFL, the Ravens and the Chiefs each win blowouts against the Steelers and the Texans, respectively. All the NBA games were bangers, so shout out to the NBA. The Packers clinched the playoffs over the last week and a half. The Chiefs clinched the 1 seed, and the Ravens clinched the playoffs as well. And last week before Christmas Day, the Ravens beat the Steelers, the Chiefs beat the Texans, and the Commanders beat the Eagles. Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, and Ohio State went first round blowouts. We just talked about that. The Chargers converted the first free kick field goal since 1976. The Ravens waived Deontay Johnson. He signed with the Texans. The Falcons expect to waive Kirk Bench this offseason. A bunch of MLB news. Max Kepler signs with the Phillies. Christian Walker signs with the Astros. Paul Goldschmidt with the Yankees. Jesus Luzardo signs with the Phillies. Walker Buehler signs with the Red Sox. Sean Manaea re-signs with the Mets. Jock Peterson signs with the Rangers. And Josh Naylor is traded to the Diamondbacks. Luka Doncic will be out at least a month with a calf injury. And James, which college football playoff second round game will be the best and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. The one I'm most excited for is Arizona State, Texas, but I think the closest one... I'll go Georgia, Notre Dame. I think that Georgia's going to actually play a good game without Carson Beck. I think they're going to play a good game, and I think seeing Notre Dame last week, I think it'll still be a good one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd go with that one.
I think Ohio State Oregon will be an instant classic.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe.
I think it will be an instant classic. Anyway, Futures draft update. I'm up 39-32. I got 8 points last week on all my teams won. So now I have 4 teams that are in the second round. None of them play each other. James has 3 of the teams that had a bye. So there's 7 teams left that we drafted out of the 8. Arizona State, the lone one we didn't draft. And it'll be big, right? Ohio State, Oregon, basically all my teams could win and it could be over.
Or all my teams
Or all
could
your
win.
teams could win plus Arizona State and it would be over.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens. But this week will most likely decide it. Unless we go like half and half.
Yeah, most likely. Depending... Yeah. It'll probably decide it. You're right.
All right, second round, college football playoff. Number 6, Penn State versus number 3, Boise State. Is this the Fiesta Bowl?
It is, in Arizona.
All right. I'll start with my key players. First from Penn State. We're just doing one key player, one key matchup, and then keys to the game and pick. So for Penn State, it was Nick Singleton, their running back. I think he really needs to run well. It'll open up the Penn State offense. And if they can do that and open up their offense like they did it kind of against SMU, then Boise State will be outmatched. They will not be able to stop them. So that's the key player for Penn State.
Yeah, I put the exact same one. So I put him last week too. And I think Penn State, you beat Boise at their own game, right? Boise runs the ball effectively. They have one of the best players in the country at it. Beat them at their own game. He had 14 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown last week. I think if he keeps it up, I think Penn State wins this game pretty easily. I just think running the ball is a big deal in the playoffs. And I think Penn State can do that effectively.
All right, now to Boise State, you just aren't going to stop Ashton GT.
Nope.
But you can stop Maddox Madsen, their quarterback. He needs to play well. Throwing the ball through the air, it's got to happen. You can't put it all on Ashton GT's shoulders in this game because versus the Penn State defense, that will be able to limit him. If all they're doing is handing off to GT, they'll be able to limit him, right? So Maddox Madsen needs to step up and make Penn State respect the pass game so GT can open up for him.
So, yeah, I went with one of the best players in the country. Ashton Jeanty is my key player because he's the best player in this game. And he needs to put Boise on his back. I honestly disagree with you. I think they're going to run the ball well. I think they're going to give the ball to him a good amount of times. And I don't think Penn State's going to be able to stop it. Now, what they can stop is the pass game. So I think Ashton Jeanty is going to need to put Boise on his back. But I think Boise is a better team than people are giving them credit for. They are a good team. They got a bye for a reason. They're 12-1 for a reason. They played the number 1 team in the country very closely. He's obviously got 344 carries, almost 2,500 yards on the ground, and almost 30 touchdowns. He's had one of the most incredible seasons for a running back ever. He's going to have to put Boise on his back here in Arizona.
So you think if Boise can't pass the ball and Penn State just plays cover 0 every play, then GT can still run for 150? I don't think he can.
Yep.
And they put...
Because he breaks tackles so well.
They can put 7 guys in the box. I don't think they can...
If his offensive line blocks as well as they have all year, yes, I think so. I think the way he breaks tackles is just so impressive, and it doesn't really matter how many you put in the box. Right. Now, if they put 10 guys in the box, then you're going to throw the ball.
This is the best defense they've seen all year. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond. Key matchup, I have the Penn State pass rush versus the Boise State O-line. I think Madsen needs time to find wide receivers against the Penn State secondary that is pretty stingy. I think they need to for Penn State they need to get to Madsen early and often in this game, and make Boise State one-dimensional. Like I said, make them have to rely on GT, and then put your chips on the table to stop that. So, Penn State pass rush, Boise O-line. Madsen needs time if Boise wants to win this game.
My key matchup is who runs the ball better. Boise State's running game, Penn State's running game. I think Penn State's going to run the ball better, but I think Ginty's going to be effective as well. And I think whoever runs the ball better gets more chunk plays. I think we'll win this game. So I think that's the key matchup for me. Whoever runs the ball better.
All right, keys to the game now. For Penn State, my key to the game is to slow the game down. Keep your defense fresh and run through Boise's defense. Your defense is going to have to be fresh if they want to stop Ashton Ginty and the Boise offense. And you keep your and run through Boise's defense. Make them demoralized. Make them give up early. Take the life out of them, right? And stay on the field and all that. So slow the game down for Penn State, and you can win this game. Control it.
Yeah, I said stay calm and composed in the Fiesta Bowl because this is a big deal. It's win or go home. And jump on them early. Don't let Boise get out to a 14-0 lead because then they're going to use that momentum. Penn State needs to slow this down, exactly what they did against SMU, but now they're doing it in Arizona, not at home. So I think Penn State, they jump on them early. I don't know, they force a turnover for Boise on the first possession. I think that's what wins them the game.
All right, for Boise State, I said convert on third down. You're going to have third downs. You're going to have to throw. You're going to have to convert them, right? You need to tire out their defense by making these drives elongated. And that'll allow you to open up your offense even more. If their defense is tired and you're throwing that ball on third down and Ashton GT now can run through a tired defense, right? And your defense needs to be fresh against a Penn State team that's going to want to run the ball through you, going to want to take the life out of you. So convert on third down, stay on the field, keep your defense off the field.
Yeah, I said this last week with Indiana, and obviously it didn't work out, but I'm going to say the same thing here for Boise. Do what you do best. Indiana last week, what they do best is they throw the ball. They tried to run it more than throw it in that game. They tried to get a run game going. It didn't really work out. So for Boise, get your running game going early. Play Ashton Ginty a maximum amount of carries as you can. That's one of the best players in the country, maybe the best player in the country. Do what you do best. Run the ball early in this game.
All right, James, what's your pick?
I'm going to go with Penn State 30-17.
Oh.
I think it's close.
I picked Penn State 30-17 too.
Actually?
Yeah.
I do think it's close at the beginning. I just think Penn State plays a better game defensively. I think Boise gets their 17, and they play a close game right up into that fourth quarter where Penn State pulls away.
Well, I think a little differently. I do think 30-17 Penn State wins, but I think Penn State controls the game from the very jump. I don't think this game is really going to be at all in the cards for Boise State. I think Boise's life is going to be slowly sucked out of them throughout the entire game. There's going to be demoralized. They won't be able to. They'll be there, but they won't be able to make that jump. I think GT plays well, but nobody else does. I think Penn State wins it pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think GT can run for over 300 and a couple touchdowns, but I don't think...
He can't run for 300 yards. He hasn't done that all year, much less against the best defense they've played.
You're right. I mean, maybe 300 total yards, total purpose yards. We don't think so?
He's
in a playoff game?
It's still football. Like, he's not that good. He'll have the highlight plays, but he's still going to get the 4-yard carries and the 3-yard carries. Yeah. That's just how football works.
Yeah, obviously.
And so he's not going to get 300 yards. He can get to, like... My guess
I'm going to go that he gets 210.
Oh, I'd say like 157.
Okay.
No, I don't think he's going to get to 200.
Okay.
Anyway, number 5, Texas versus number 4, Arizona State. My key player for Texas is Quinn Ewers. He needs to carve up this Arizona State defense. I didn't consider the fact that he's not mobile still. Didn't even forgot about that when I was making this, but he needs to carve up the Arizona State defense. He needs to get them on their heels really quick because that's what's going to happen. If he can use his eyes and make this Arizona State defense and secondary guessing and just carve them up, get them on their heels, and that'll be really key to Texas winning this game early and dominating.
I have the exact same player. I got Quinn Ewers too, and I think in that Clemson game, they obviously had to run the ball a lot, and they ran the ball very effectively. I think they're going to have to throw the ball through the air a lot in this game, and that relies on Quinn Ewers. Now, if they get the running game early, it's easier for Ewers, but I think they're going to have to throw more in this game, and that relies a lot more on Quinn Ewers' shoulders.
Yeah, all right, for Arizona State, I have Cam Skattebo. I think he just hasn't seen a defense like Texas's. Nobody has, right? They're probably the best defense in the country. Mm-hmm. He needs to be just as good as he was in that Big 12 championship or throughout the season. He's got to be able to be that game breaker that he was, especially in the Big 12 championship. He was a threat receiving, a threat rushing the ball. He was running over people like nobody's business. It's got to happen here if Arizona State wants a chance to win this game.
I do like the Skattebo pick, but I went with Xavier Guillory. Xavier Guillory has 16 receptions on the season, but he's still the third leading receiver. Number 2 leading receiver, has 17 receptions, and number 1, Jordan Tyson, is out for the year. He obviously didn't play in the Big 12 championship game, didn't play in the Arizona game as well. Jordan Tyson had 75 catches leading that team. The number 2 guy had 17. Xavier Guillory made 2 great catches in that Big 12 championship game. I think that's what helped Arizona State get out to a lead early. I think he's going to play a big role in this game. He's obviously the senior. He's big. He can go up and get a ball. I think ASU is going to have to throw the ball a lot more than they want in this game. So I think Xavier Guillory is a key player for me.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. Key matchup. My key matchup is Sam Leavitt versus the Texas secondary. Sam just cannot give the ball away to Texas. If you do that, this game's over from the jump, right? But they also have to be able to move the ball through the air. Like I said with Jeanty, like Cam Scatterbu can't do it all himself. They've got to be able to move the ball through the air and make Texas respect it at least. I think if Texas forces turnovers, they win this game easy. So that's my key matchup.
Yeah, mine's on the other side, or kind of on the other part. Can Texas's number 8 rush defense stop Cam Scatterbu? Because, I mean, he's rushed for over 1,500 yards, about 20 touchdowns. Yeah, I think he had 260 carries. Cam Scatterbu was amazing this year, but he's going up against the best defense in the country. Now, they're not the best rush defense in the country. They're probably top 5 if we're not including smaller FBS schools. But I think Texas' rush defense is so good that it's going to rely on a lot of their things for Arizona State to win this game. So it can't all rely on Cam Scatterbu. So if they can stop him, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Arizona State.
Yeah, so let's go right into my key to the game for Texas, which is to limit Cam Scatterbu. I think you stop him, you stop their whole offense. I think if you allow yourself to be able to drop back in coverage a little bit more, Sam Levy won't know what to do about it. Cam Scatterbu, if you can limit him, not just stop him, you won't stop him, but limit him, make them be able to throw the ball. I don't know if they'll be able to. That's my key to the game for Texas.
Mine's play smart, sound defense. Play smart defense, drop back in coverage, make good tackles. That's what they've done all year. I think Penn State and Texas make some of the best tackles that I have ever seen. They don't miss many. And I think that's exactly what Texas need to do. You miss tackles in this game, and you let Cam Scatterbu break out big runs. You let receivers get extra yards on receptions that maybe is only 5 or 6 yards. I think that's the smart thing. Just play smart, sound defense, and Texas wins this game easily.
Okay, for Arizona State, my key to the game is to get early momentum. Don't get caught playing catch-up versus Texas. It's so difficult to do. What are the 2 games Texas has lost this year? Grind-out games versus Georgia. You need to make one of those games happen. You can ask Clemson how it goes playing catch-up against Texas. You can ask any of the other teams, Kentucky, any of those other SEC teams that they blew out. Ask them, it's not going to work. You have to get early momentum because if you try to play catch-up, it's just not going to work.
I agree. Mine is control time and possession and let Sam Leavitt kind of settle in. If you control the time and possession, you get the ball more than Texas, I think you can win the game. I mean, I think that's a pretty obvious thing. If you get more time than them, you should be able to win the game. I think Arizona State can do that. And it's winning the turnover battle as well. But Sam Leavitt being a freshman or redshirt freshman, he's going to have to settle into this game. We saw it with Nico. He's a true freshman. We saw it with Nico last week, how he was just, from the jump, he didn't look great. He was getting pressured.
Settled in, though. It's just too late.
Yeah. He settled in, but it was when it really didn't matter. So if Sam Leavitt can settle in early, I think Arizona State can win this game.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really think that game last week was all on Nico. I think it was more the other stuff.
It was on both.
I feel like Nico did what he could, but no one was helping him out.
He missed throws at the beginning. I mean, he played good. I mean, he didn't play good, but
he's a freshman.
You
gotta help him out.
Once again, he is a freshman. He has to be helped. I agree.
All right, my pick in this game, I have Texas 31, Arizona State 24. I think this is going to be a really well-played game. I think Arizona State's able to keep it close, but they can't quite get over the hump. They're going to be down by 1 possession the entire game. I think Texas, again, just does just enough to win this game. I don't think they play their best game. I think they do just enough to outperform Arizona State.
Yeah, I think Texas this year has not played the competition that I believe they should have coming into the SEC. They obviously played Georgia twice, and they lost to them twice. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing where it's like you come into this game not playing the hardest schedule, and then you play an Arizona State team, a Big 12 team that's supposed to pick last in their conference. I'm going with the underdog story. I'm going with Arizona State. Now, do I think they can win this in my head? No, but in my heart, I think they can. I think I have it 31-34. I think it's a well-played game on both sides. I don't think there's many turnovers. And I think both teams run the ball very effectively. I think it's a high-scoring game. Low scoring in the first half, high scoring in the second half. I think Arizona State wins it by a field goal at the end.
Yeah, you don't actually think that.
I think they could. I think this is the biggest upset-worthy game, in my opinion. besides an evenly matched like Ohio State.
Well,
and
the other
Oregon.
two are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, exactly.
This could go either way.
Yeah. I think that they have a better chance than Boise does.
Yeah, I'd say that. I think Penn State Boise will be more of what we saw last week, which is just like, I'm better than you and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
And I
think Arizona State, that could also happen with Arizona State Texas, but it could also be a close game. But just all about how Arizona State stacks up, which we don't really know yet until the game starts.
Exactly.
Number 8, Ohio State versus number 1, Oregon. I'm telling you, this will be an instant classic. My key player for Ohio State is Jeremiah Smith. He was so good versus Tennessee. He was awesome. He needs to be able to replicate that against Oregon, who we've seen already. Got to be able to get open like he did against Tennessee and make the explosive plays. That's my key player for Ohio State.
Mine's Will Howard, and I think playing last week, I was expecting a lot from him, and he gave me exactly what I needed. He threw for over 302 touchdowns. If he plays like that again, they win this game pretty easily. I think that if they rely on their pass game and their playmakers, Ohio State can win again. So, yeah, he's my key player.
Okay, for Oregon, my key player is Jordan James, their running back. I think they have to run the ball to be able to open up their offense. Can't rely only on Dylan Gabriel in their passing game. Got to have a run game there. Keep Ohio State on their heels with the run game. I think that's huge for Oregon here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jordan James, chunk plays win you games. And Jordan James will be a Heisman contender next year. He's obviously a sophomore, I believe, and chunk plays win you games like these. Grind out games. In the Rose Bowl, I think it's going to be really fun. I think Jordan James is a big key player, running the ball, taking pressure off of Dylan Gabriel and Tez Johnson in the pass game. I think Jordan James plays a big role.
This audio, man. Oh, we went back for a second, now we're off again. Alright, who cares? Come to YouTube. They can't hear me then. I'll tell them in a minute. Alright, my key matchup is going to be Ohio State's receiver versus Oregon's secondary. I think Ohio State needs to get the passing game going like they did last game, or else they're not going to have a chance. I think Oregon needs to cover well in order to stop this offense at all, ever. Their running game is good, but their passing game is great. And so, in order to get at one stop the entire game, pretty much, you got to be able to stop their passing game a little bit. So that's huge for Oregon and huge for Ohio State to be able to dominate this game offensively, to throw the ball.
Yeah, I kind of went similar to you. I went all of Ohio State's weapons versus Oregon's smart and sound defense. I think just the weapons showed out in that Tennessee game, how many opportunities they make, and how many players they just have in general. I mean, Judkins, Henderson played great games at the running back, especially catching the ball. I thought that was really impressive. And then Jeremiah Smith and Ibuka have obviously been great all year. Jeremiah Smith, a freshman, has played great. And I just think their weapons and showing up, playing good offense against Oregon's smart defense is a key matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's defense is probably better than Oregon's. So that's...
Maybe,
they're different, but I think that's definitely... Yeah. I think you could say, especially in the SEC, given 11 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. All right. By the way, this ESPN predictor says 53.6% Ohio State.
Saw that yesterday. Yeah.
So that's, maybe I agree, maybe I don't. Keys to the game for Ohio State, I think they need to make chunk plays early in this game, kind of like they did against Tennessee. They did a really, really good job of that. Got them on their heels. It needs to happen again. Get Oregon on your heels. Open up the run game later in the game, like they did against Tennessee. They kind of need to replicate an offensive performance, because they really dominated last week. So if you see that again, they won't lose this game.
I think do the same thing that you did last week. I think they threw the ball more than I was expecting. I was expecting them to run the ball more and use your elite receivers, right? You've used them all year and they've been great. And just use your weapons. You have the better weapons in this game, in my opinion. You have the better key players. And I think Ohio State, if you beat them in the air offensively, you win this game.
Okay, for Oregon, my key to the game is play within yourself. You've done this before. You beat Ohio State. You're undefeated. Don't change. Play within yourself. Don't think you have to go make some miraculous performance because it's the playoffs. You've done it before. Just go out there, play your game, play within yourself. Don't try to do too much, and you'll win this game.
My keys to the game is to Dan Lanning. Get your boys ready to play defense because this Ohio State team is hot. They're coming with fire, and they want to go win a national title. They're all locked in now. We are not going to see that Ohio State team against Michigan. I don't think.
No.
So get your boys ready to play defense. I know your offense is going to show up. Dan Lanning, coach a smart game. That's the key to the game for Oregon.
Okay, my pick. I think it's going to be a thriller. It'll be an instant classic in my opinion. I think both teams are going to play very, very well. But I think Ohio State's defense holds late, leading into a 34-30 victory. Very similar to their last game where Oregon won 32-31. I just don't think Ohio State loses to them twice. But again, like Ohio State could come out and play like they did against Michigan. That's going to be a blowout for Oregon. So I think it's either a close win for Ohio State or a blowout in favor of Oregon. My pick: Ohio State 34, Oregon 30.
So I kind of think the opposite of what happened in their game when they obviously won by 1 or whatever. I have Ohio State winning this game just because I think they're the more hot team. I think it's similar to March Madness. When a team gets hot, anyone can beat you, whether you're undefeated or not. But Ohio State right now is so good offensively. Same thing with Oregon, but I think the defenses come to play. I've got it 17-14.
I hope not.
Ohio State. I think it'll be a really fun game. I think you'll miss opportunities in the red zone. 17-14, Ohio State.
All right. I hope that doesn't happen. I
In the
want it to
Rose
be a
Bowl.
high-scoring game.
In the Rose Bowl.
I don't
Be a
know.
good
You say about March Madness, like this ain't March Madness, dude.
I
This is
think-
football.
Well,
Like,
I think the similarities of getting hot.
yeah,
So like a team that I think playing a first round game actually could benefit
but
you.
yeah, it could. Like it's going to for Ohio State,
Exactly.
but you could also be the worst team. Like I
No,
think
no, I'm not saying
Boise State-
upsets. I'm not.
Boise State, Arizona State, like plays football, the better team wins. We saw it last
Yeah.
week. We're gonna see it again this week. I think the better teams are gonna win. I think Ohio State's the better team here.
Yeah, I'm not saying upsets. I'm just saying like when a team gets hot, they're
Yeah,
hard to beat,
yeah.
and I think Ohio State's hot right now.
Yeah, they are. Number 7 Notre Dame, number 2 at Georgia. Final game here. My key player for Notre Dame. Or do you want to start? I can start.
I can start, yeah.
Okay.
My key player for Notre Dame is Riley Leonard, easily, because I think he needs to use his legs. I picked Jeremiah Love last week. He had a great game. But Riley Leonard needs to use his legs in this game. He needs to get out of the pocket. Georgia's pass rush is elite every single year, and it's elite again this year. Riley Leonard's going to have to use his legs. He's going to have to get out the pocket. He's going to have to play a smart game on the ground. So I think Riley Leonard's a big key player for Notre Dame. He played a great game against Indiana. Just needs to continue that fire.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Riley Leonard is my key player, but I wouldn't say he played a great game against Indiana. I say he was just there, right? And I think he needs to be great in this game. He needs to be really good running the ball, really good passing the ball. He needs to be able to open up their offense in a big way. And he needs to be smart. Do not give the ball to Georgia's defense and their backup quarterback. Give them short fields. They're going to convert with their running game, right? You have to be able to protect the ball, be smart, make good reads, and deliver the ball on time where it needs to be. And also being able to run the ball with Riley Leonard is big. So Riley Leonard is my key player.
Okay. For Georgia, I went to the running back room, but I didn't go with Trevor Etienne. I went with the guy who's actually leading in rushing. It's Nate Frazier. It's the freshman. Trevor Etienne has had a up and down season, in my opinion. So I think Nate Frazier, with no Carson Beck, means they need to run the ball well. I think he's a bigger opportunities for bigger plays than Trevor Etienne. Obviously, Trevor Etienne can punch the ball in for touchdowns, but Nate Frazier pulling off big runs, especially with Beck out and Stockton in there. Stockton is a more mobile guy. I think running the ball for Georgia is going to be a big key thing for them. So I think Nate Frazier relies a lot on him, a lot on the freshman.
That's crazy how Etienne doesn't have the
He hasn't
best
had a
rushing
great year
yards.
at all.
He was supposed to be crazy this
He
year.
was. I said that was the best pickup in the
Yeah.
transfer portal.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Well, everyone thought that, right? Or maybe like Judkins to Ohio State. That was
True.
good, too.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
My key player for Georgia is Gunnar Stockton, their backup quarterback, right? He has to be good versus a great Notre Dame defense. He doesn't have to be great, but he has to be good enough, right? Georgia has to be able to trust him in big moments. That's big. If Georgia can't trust him in big moments, it's going to be tough for them to win this game. He's got to be just good enough to where they can trust him to make throws on time where they need to be. So that's my key player, Gunnar Stockton.
Okay, key matchup. I have Georgia and Gunnar Stockton versus the elite Notre Dame defense. We saw it against Indiana, how good this Notre Dame defense is in the skies. So I think running the ball for Georgia is going to be a key thing, but Gunnar Stockton has to play a good game. You just said it. He has to play a good game. There's no chance they win this one if he doesn't play well, because a lot of things rely on quarterback play, because if you have the guy who's supposed to be taking top 5, not anymore, out, your backup has to play well. I mean, you're now in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. This is a big deal. Gunnar Stockton has to play well in his first playoff game.
All right, my key matchup is going to be Georgia's linebackers versus Riley Leonard. For Georgia's linebackers, you can't let Riley Leonard trick you. You just can't. You can't let him manipulate you with his eyes. Can't let them trick you. Can't let him trick you, right? You can't let him be able to find open receivers through your little zones. And you got to keep him in front of you when he runs. It's so big. I said it last week for Indiana. He didn't really run much, but I think he might need to run more in this game. So Riley Leonard, you got to keep him in front of you. Can't let him trick you with his eyes. And for Riley Leonard, you got to be able to manipulate these linebackers. These are some good athletes, right? You got to be able to use your eyes, manipulate them, get in the run game, and make moves and stuff around them. So Riley Leonard, Georgia linebackers, that's my key matchup.
What's the spread on this game? Do you know?
That should be right here.
I wonder what it is, because if it's like, I wonder if Georgia's favored. I don't think they would be.
It says
the
right here. It
backup
says
quarterback.
Notre Dame 53.7.
Yeah, I don't know if
Georgia's
that,
-2.
okay, they're -2. Okay, so they are favored. They're the higher seed. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're the better team
They're,
on paper.
at this point, Georgia's favored till they're not.
Yeah.
Keys to the game. You go ahead.
Yep. Notre Dame, jump out early and keep Georgia on their heels because Georgia has had some pressure this year, but in a lot of games. Right? They are ready for this. They're ready for a close game. I mean, in that Georgia Tech game, they went to what, 7 overtimes, 8 overtimes? I don't remember. 9?
I think it was 8.
I don't know. I watched the game. I don't remember how many overtimes it went to, but that was a close game. They've been in close games all year against Texas twice. And it's jump out early, keep Georgia on their heels, keep them steady offensively, but just put pressure on them because it's like Gunnar Stockton. I don't think he's gonna play that good of a game, and I think if you get him out of his groove, it's tough for Georgia to win.
All right, if anyone's actually listening to Spotify, go to YouTube. Period. It just went out again. Oh my god. All right. Key to the game for Notre Dame: fluster Gunnar Stockton. He's just the backup. He may not be able to handle pressure if you can pressure him early. The pressure of maybe getting out to a lead, right? And adversity, right? You make him scared of you. Make him, or like, what am I trying to say? Like, don't let him get momentum, right? You have to be able to stop him early in this game. You have to be able to get out to an early lead, put the pressure on him, make him fight through adversity, because I don't know if he'll be able to do that as the backup.
For Georgia, I have run the ball effectively. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. I think running the ball wins you these big games in the playoffs, in my opinion. So I think if you run the ball effectively with your two backs and take pressure off of Gunnar Stockton, because remember, this kid's a backup. He's not going to come in and just sling it. I think Georgia has a steady run game, and I think that's what gives them a chance in this game at least.
Yeah, I pretty much said the same thing here for Georgia. It's run the ball. Make Notre Dame focus on the run. Take pressure off Gunnar Stockton. Allow him to have more favorable coverages to throw into. And just run the ball effectively. Take the pressure off of Gunnar. That's huge. That's my key to the game for Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, even just screen passes or pitch outs or anything to get Gunnar Stockton just kind of the pressure off, soothe them, right? Like get an opening touchdown and a breakout run, right? That calms them down. I think that's a big deal for Georgia.
All right, what's your pick, James?
Saying all that for Georgia and what I think, I don't know why I'm picking against them, but I am. I just think Notre Dame played such a good game against Indiana. I was very impressed with Riley Leonard. I was very impressed with Jeremiah Love. I think they win this game 28-17. I think it's the most boring game in the Sugar Bowl, in my opinion. I think Notre Dame wins this one. Not easily, but I think it's close at the beginning. I think they pull away late. I think Riley Leonard actually plays a really good game, but I got Notre Dame coming out on top against Georgia.
What'd you say the score will be?
28-17.
Oh, okay. My pick, I think it'll be a very defensive game. I did this last week with Tennessee and Ohio State. I came in expecting to pick Georgia. Came in expecting to pick Ohio State. And then I looked at it and I was like, I'm going to switch my pick. Didn't work last week. Probably shouldn't be doing it again. But here I am. I had Notre Dame 20, Georgia 17. I think Notre Dame's defense flusters Gunnar Stockton early. And I think Notre Dame runs the ball well. I think they control the game. But Georgia finds themselves with the chance late in this game to go win it. But the Notre Dame defense comes up big. 20-17, Notre Dame wins.
Okay.
Oh, we got it.
So we had similar upset picks, I guess. So you picked Penn State, I picked Penn State, I picked Arizona State, you picked Texas, and then we both picked Notre Dame, we both picked Ohio State. So we picked 2 upsets. I picked 3. You picked
3 upsets?
I mean, if we're counting Arizona State.
Yeah.
I mean,
these are all...
They're a higher seed, but we're counting Arizona State as an upset.
Arizona State's an upset, and then I wouldn't know if Ohio State's an upset. That's kind of a 50-50 ball.
I mean, they're a lower seed. That's the only reason.
They're favored in this game, I think. So.
Really?
Upset.
No way.
They have the better percentage.
Yeah, but I don't think that means they're favored. I'd say Oregon's favored by 3.
Ohio State's 2.5. I just said it right there.
No way, dude.
Yeah,
that is surprising.
The way they look, they just look like the better team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but we haven't seen. Oregon didn't get to play a game.
Ohio State's the best team until they're not at this point. Until they're out, Ohio State's the best team. They'll be favored.
Oregon's the number 1 team in the country, so I think Oregon could easily win that game. I mean, I think they could.
I think it's a 50-50. Depends on what happens here.
All right, fair by 11.
NFL picks now. We got a guest. Let's get him in here.
Let's see.
Hey Smith, you're on.
What's up?
How you doing?
Doing great. How are
Good.
you?
Good. Good
Yeah,
morning.
so if you don't remember, Smith was on last year. He put up a good fight, had 8 picks, right? He got tied for second place. So, Smith, you have how many? You need 13 games. You have 13 games this week. You need 10 for the tie. You need 11 for the lead. With only 2 weeks left, you can put yourself in a really good spot here to bring the trophy home. We do have a trophy.
Yeah, trophy's right on my desk right now.
I'm getting 13, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
13 out of 13.
Very nice.
All
I
right.
like the confidence. Bruce last week got 4 out of 16 because he picked against me. James did beat me last week though, so now it's down to an 18-point deficit.
It's possible.
James has to win.
There's a road.
You have to win by 4 to have even a chance next week. So, and then you have to win by 4 this week. You have to get all of them right next week, and I have to get all of them wrong. So it's
possible.
18-point game with like
18-point swing, baby.
18-point game with like 27 games left. So we'll see what happens.
I'm ready.
Denver, Cincinnati. Smith, start us off.
Cincinnati's losing, bro.
Okay. You got Denver. All right.
I'll go next. I think I put Cleveland. Cincinnati is very, very hot right now. I think this is a close game. I think Cincinnati stays in the playoff race with a win here over Denver.
Yeah, Cincinnati's playing for a playoff spot. I think they're the scariest team if they get in. I got Cincy winning this game pretty easily. I think Denver puts up a fight at the beginning, but Cincinnati takes it away late.
Yeah, the road is there. They need to win this week. They need to beat the Steelers, and they need Denver to lose to the Chiefs, which all that could happen, right? Chargers, Patriots.
Smith.
Am I on the track for 0 out of 16?
Right now, I don't know. It hasn't happened yet.
I mean, you picked differently to us, but I mean...
That's a close game. That's a close game.
You never know.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Patriots are losing.
Okay, so you go with the Chargers. All right.
Good pick. I think the Patriots won't do anything against this Chargers defense. I think their defense is too good. I think Chargers win this game, lock up a playoff spot. And yeah, that's it.
I think a lot of these games is like one team's playing for something the other team isn't. The Chargers are playing more than what the Patriots are. All the Patriots are playing for right now is draft stock and Drake May's development. Chargers will win this game defensively. I got the Chargers on top.
All right, Smith, Cardinals, Rams.
I would go with the Cardinals.
Okay. Any reason?
All right.
Their quarterback plays Call of Duty.
Are the Rams doing bad this year?
No, they're not.
They're all right.
They're not.
No, I think so.
They're just okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take the Rams in this one. I think they're playing really well. I think they win a close one, and I think they lock up their division with the win.
Yeah, they do.
All right. So I got the Rams locking up.
Even though Seattle did win last night, but they do lock it up with a win. I have the Rams as well. I think it's another situation. The Cardinals cannot make the playoffs anymore. The Rams can. They can lock it up right here. I think the Rams do it in SoFi. I think pretty easily. I think Kyler plays a good game, but the Rams just overmatched them. I mean, I just think they're playing for more.
I love picking the Cardinals, but here I just can't.
Yeah.
Raiders, Saints.
The Rangers.
Rangers.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. Good pick.
Actually, no. Let me change my answer. Hold on. Let me change my answer to the Saints.
The Saints?
Yeah, well, they're the Raiders, not the Rangers, so that does help a little bit. I think they're just two bad teams, right? I think this would be...
Yeah, I gotta say patriotic, though, because they're both two of them bad.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, two bad teams. I think that each team is going to be trying to lose, but I think the Saints do pull it out in the end, because Las Vegas is just better at losing.
Yeah, I agree that Las Vegas is better than losing, but I think New Orleans is now they've realized that no point in playing. We scored 0 points on Monday Night Football. That was an embarrassment on prime time. They're going to do it here again. They're going to lose to Las Vegas at home.
All right. Bills, Jets, Smith.
Troy, I think you should go first.
No, I'm not. We've done this before.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Bills.
Bills. Good pick.
Good pick.
I mean, I think my King locks up the MVP in this game. I think he plays really, really well. I think it'll be a blowout win for Buffalo, not even close. I got the Bills.
Yeah, that's an interesting. The MVP race is heating up right now. I think it's really between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Saquon. If Saquon breaks the record, he's got a chance. But
Saquon's out of it. I don't think
if he breaks the record,
can he even break the record
he
anymore?
He can.
He had 2 bad games.
Yeah, he's got to run for 400 in the next 2 games, and he can break the record.
Okay.
But in this game, I do have the Bills. I think they outplay the Jets. The Jets, once again, aren't playing for anything. They had a horrible season. There's going to be a lot of movement made in the offseason. I got the Bills here. I got Josh Allen making one more step towards that MVP.
Josh Allen's going to be the MVP. It's
Maybe. It's definitely close. Lamar's giving a case right now.
Lamar's making a case right now, but he was too much of a slump in the middle of the season.
Maybe.
Josh Allen will win the MVP.
He lost close games. I think Lamar's got a chance.
Titans, Jaguars. Smith.
Yeah.
Titans, Jaguars.
Yeah, so I don't care what James says. The Jaguars are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't care if they don't have a chance. They're going to win the Super Bowl. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Jaguars.
Okay. You're a big Jaguars fan. All right.
Yeah, I said they're the favorites for sure. But I do have Tennessee in this game, though. I think it'll be another really bad game. I think the Jaguars find a way to lose with Mac Jones, and yeah, that's all about it, I gotta say.
Yeah, I got the total opposite. I think they find a way to win. I got the Jaguars winning this game actually easily. You've been telling me all year. Jaguars are a good team.
I never said they're good. I said they're better than their record.
They're better than their record. They've just played hard opponents. This is an easy opponent. I think the Jaguars win this one.
Yeah, they also have Mac Jones as their quarterback, and
He hasn't played bad.
he played bad
He's
last
been-
week.
he's
When
been
you
okay.
when you picked him, he's played bad. When
Yeah.
you don't pick him, he's
Yeah,
played good.
exactly.
All right, Bucks Panthers.
I'm gonna go with the Panthers.
Panthers, good pick.
okay.
I don't agree though. I think this will be a very close game. I think Carolina is going to play well. They're going to put up a fight. I think the Bucks win this game. They stay alive in their division. Give me the Tampa Bay.
I got the opposite. I got Carolina winning this game. Carolina's obviously not playing for anything, but they play with a lot more pride than Tampa does. I think they win this game in Tampa. I think they give Tampa a very hard road to get to the playoffs after that. So I got Carolina on top.
Do Tampa Bay plays the Saints next week, right? So they don't
do.
play the Falcons?
Week 18, they play the Saints. Yep.
Okay, Eagles, Cowboys, Smith.
Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles, bro. The Eagles.
I like you. You're not doing too bad, Smith. I like what you're doing here. I think Philly, they get a bounce back win here. I think they win by 30. Pretty much easily.
Cool.
This will be a blowout.
I think it's closer than people expect. Obviously, no CeeDee Lamb. They've shut him down for the year now, but I have the Eagles winning this game. I do think Saquon plays a good game, and I think he keeps his name alive in that MVP race. But I got the Eagles on top of Dallas.
All right, Colts, Giants.
Colts and Giants. I think the Colts are winning only because that dude on Instagram Reels that sings the anthem.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that, yeah.
That's really patriotic, so I'm going to go with the Colts.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's a sound pick there. Sound pick. I think the Colts will just look better this year. I think they win easy versus a bad Giants team. Give me the Colts.
Yeah, this is a bad Giants team. This is a broken Giants team. And I got the Colts on top here. I think it's a close, hard-fought game. I don't think either team's playing for something other than pride, so I got the Colts.
James, that's growth right there.
Yeah.
And the Colts aren't out of the playoff race yet.
They're out of the playoffs.
They're right with the
There's no chance
the
in the
Bengals
playoffs.
are. They're right with the Bengals are.
Yeah, but the
Same
Bengals.
record.
Okay.
Same record. Hey, they play the Giants this week. That's one step closer. Dolphins and Browns.
The Dolphins and the Browns. The Dolphins, easily.
Yeah, the Browns are just
Yep.
a crap show right now. I think it'll be a close game though. I think Miami pulls away late. I think they win by 2 scores. Give me the Dolphins.
I got a close game, but I got Cleveland pulling it out. I got Jameis Winston in Cleveland. This is the last Browns home game. They're going to show a lot of pride here against Miami. Miami, they have a road to the playoffs, I think,
Just like the
but it is a
Colts do.
very, very slim. It's a very.
So as the Colts and the Bengals.
It's different than the Bengals. I know it's harder to do than the Bengals. But I got Cleveland win this game and pretty much knock them out of the playoffs.
How'd that work for you last week?
I picked Cleveland last week.
Yeah.
Don't remember that.
Yeah, against somebody bad or against somebody good. I think. Yeah, that's what happens when you're down 18. All right.
This is in Cleveland, last home game.
All right. Packers, Vikings.
Wait, did we point out that I know nothing about football?
That's fine.
Maybe you do
Half
know
our
something.
guys know nothing about football. We'll see what happens. You got second last year.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
got credibility. Let's go.
Alright. So, remember I said that Jaguars winning the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Mhm.
Or not? I got the Vikings winning the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Wow.
Hey, they're
Interesting pick.
They're winning this game. They're winning this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard any talk about any ex-convicts. I think it's an interesting strategy. Coming off last year.
I had to break away from that this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't win for you last year. Probably won't win this year, huh? I think these are 2 contenders in the NFC. I think Green Bay does play spoiler to the Vikings division hopes. I got the Packers.
I got the opposite. I think Minnesota is just so much better defensively. I think they give Green Bay a test, and I think they win it late. I think it's the closest game. I think it's the best game of the week.
Yeah, should be the best game of the week. Falcons, Commanders.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with the Commanders this year.
Okay.
I like it. This is a huge game in the NFC playoffs, man. Really big. Falcons, Commanders. I think the better quarterback wins it late, and that's Michael Penix. No, that's Jayden Daniels. Give me the Washington Commanders.
I think both rookie quarterbacks play great in this game. I think it's a fun game on Sunday Night Football. I think there's a lot of offense involved. I think Michael Penix plays a very good game, but I think Jayden Daniels plays a better one. I got the Commanders on top at home.
If Michael Penix wins it all, does he win Rookie of the Year?
If he wins it all,
Can he win
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year?
no, probably.
They give it up before the Super Bowl
It's
anyway.
Jaden's, yeah. It's locked up as Jaden.
No, I was joking. Lions, 49ers. One we circled before the season, but now it just doesn't matter. Smith.
I'm gonna go with the Lions only because I have Jahmyr Gibbs as my running back for fantasy.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Yeah, I like that. I got the Lions too, man. I think San Francisco is just a mess. This will be a blowout for Detroit. Pretty easy win here. I got Detroit.
Yeah, I got Detroit winning this game easily. I think they run the ball effectively. I think Gibbs actually has a really good game. He's being used as a solo back, so he's got a lot of pressures on his shoulders going into the playoffs for the Lions. I got Lions.
All right, Smith. Thank you. We'll let you know how you did.
You don't need to tell me. I already know.
All right.
My score.
See you later, Smith.
All right, bye. Thank you.
So you have 5 differences than me. You have to win them all.
5? Okay.
You have to win them all. You can't just get 4 of them, or else it's over.
Yeah, I get 4 of them.
Then I get 1, and there's 3-point difference, and then it's over. So you have to win all 5. So we'll see how that goes. Dog of the week.
Dog of the week.
I'll start dog of the week from the college football playoff first round. I'll pull a James here. I'll say Ryan Day is my dog of the week.
Okay.
His job was on the line, coming off a horrendous loss to Michigan. But he got his players ready. He got them motivated. He saved his job and revived everybody's opinions when it comes to Ohio State. Give me Ryan Day as my dog of the week.
I went with another OSU guy because I think they just played the best game out of anyone. I went with Will Howard. I was so impressed. He went 24 for 29. He was insanely effective. 311 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did throw an interception, but had 5 carries for 37 yards. He played a very smart game, and I think it's exactly what he had to do to win that game against Tennessee up at the Shoe. Now they got the Rose Bowl against Oregon. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, they were definitely the most impressive team.
Yeah, I agree. For
all
sure.
right.
Will Howard impressed me a lot.
That'll do it here for us. Come back next week. You'll hear all about these games and all about the semifinals. And we'll get closer and closer to NFL playoffs as well. Next week, last week NFL picks. Last week we'll decide it all. We don't know who the guest is going to be yet, but probably like Patrick Mahomes or something. But we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.